I like to be boldly. I like to be iconic. This is who I am. I'm so loud and I'm so proud to be kind of in your face, I guess. I was 3 months into my business and I just got this download to run an event. I'm going to create an event that people will be like, oh my God, you went to Candy's event? Then the ego starts popping up. Who do you think you are? You're 3 months into your business. You're no one. Why would people even want to come to your event? Off the back end of my Australian tour, as successful as it was, I actually still got a little bit burnt. You know, not as many people show up, and then having like a 75 to 50% show rate, and it fucking hurting and being like, did I just fail myself? It's so scary putting myself out there again, knowing that I could potentially have people not show up again. Those thoughts are still there. Every time that happens, I ask myself, what did your higher self do? The version of you who has it all. What did that person have to do to be there? Like, I have the most delusional trust that everything is working in my favor. And that's also, I think, the reason why I've been able to grow so quickly is because I can make bold decisions and trust that it'll work out. And I think the reason why some people can overcome failure is because
welcome back to another episode of Beyond Your Breath. I am your host, Shanni, and I have honestly one of the most iconic women that I know in the studio with me today. She was a shift worker. She actually worked in hospitals and she quit that and boldly stepped into the world of entrepreneurship, which is not an easy thing to do. I have to say. And she has some phenomenal accolades that she has done in her first year of business, which I'm excited for her to tell us all about. Beautiful Candy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my love. I'm so grateful to be here.
Yay. I would love, I know a bit about you. We have quite a bit of history, which I love.
So cool.
And before I dive into that, I would love for you to tell our listeners who you are. From your point of view, from your words, so they can get to know you before we dive into the juice.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. What a journey I've been on, what you've been on since we first met a few years ago. And for your listeners, my name is Candy the Creator. Well, that's my Instagram handle, so you can go follow me. And basically over the last 12 and a bit months since I started fully taking my entrepreneurial journey seriously, I have scaled from a overworked emergency nurse to a multi-six-figure business owner in the space of 12 months. Hell yeah. So my journey has been rather expansive, almost kind of like a bit of a whiplash effect because the growth has been so quick, yes, but also so divinely orchestrated. So basically what I do is I work with other business owners and I help them bring their essence online. So my niche is content creation, personal branding, and business energetics. So I love to infuse the energetics piece because I'm very much into the spiritual and the woo-woo, into how to show up online and to actually create a magnetic profile so you attract your soul aligned clients rather than chase them. So that's my jam. I fucking love creating content. I love being iconic, as you said. I love hosting events. I've hosted events all around Australia, and I'm just about to vouch into my first multi-day event coming up in a few days' time. So you've definitely caught me on an interesting wavelength.
I
so
love that.
It's great because, I mean, your audience is probably going to get really juicy squeeze out of me right now.
Hell yeah, especially like with what we spoke about before jumping on. I'm like, I love this.
Yep. Oh, babes. Yep.
So I've known you for about 3 years. We met at a training. We were both doing our NLP Master Prac. And I personally loved your energy in the room. I always just watched you and I'm like, this chick is a fucking vibe. Like you've always been so authentic and you. And I want to fast forward a couple of years later. at your event that was at Tambourine Mountain. I believe it was your second.
That was my second event, yeah.
Yeah, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the one thing that you leaned into was being iconic, which to me is just another way of saying like be authentic, be so incredibly you to the most extreme way, then you're iconic. And you absolutely were. You walked in with this like Cinderella dress on, you were owning it. But what I loved about you the most was you were also just owning where you were at. You were peak, I think you were at the tail end of your comp prep
Yes.
from memory.
3 weeks out.
Yes.
Yep.
And you were just like, I feel like fucking shit.
Yeah.
I look amazing.
Pretty much that's exactly summed up that whole experience. Yeah. I was 3 weeks out from a bodybuilding competition. And yeah, running an event, there was 50 people at that event. It was my second event, and just the capacity that I've navigated through to be able to hold that whilst also holding so many other things. I was still shift working at that. Actually, I think I had just put in my resignation to my job as a nurse.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it would have been like within that, I know April, can't remember the date specifically, but I was literally had handed in my letter of resignation to the hospital, was 3 weeks out of comp and ran that event. So I like to be boldly.
Oh, yeah.
I like to show up boldly. I like to be iconic. And like, as you said, I definitely embody that. And I love your way of interpreting that's just the authentic. And I've never actually looked at it that way. But I'm like, oh yeah, it's me. I literally feel like that is me when I put on those events and I come out in fucking sparkles. Yeah. I'm like, this is who I am. I'm so loud and I'm so proud to be so, kind of in your face, I guess.
I love that though.
Yeah.
The thing is like if you look at someone famous like Rihanna, Beyonce, they are in your face. They are wearing the most extravagant, incredible, beautiful outfits, and we just are immersed in it. So why not you?
Yeah.
Why not me? Why not the person
Yeah.
listening?
And I mean, like the whole deeper reasoning around why I created the event space with that energy, like coming from the personal development industry, I'm like, I'm sick of going to networking events that are held in like hotel conference rooms. Or like, yeah, like cafes. I was like, I want it to be luxury. I know that when I put on my makeup and I do my hair and I wear an amazing dress, that I feel fucking unstoppable. I feel magnetic. I feel empowered. And as a woman, especially in business, I think that is so important rather to like cut into the mold or like, box yourself into a space that you think you need to show up as. I'm like, I actually want to create a space where women can actually show up to a business, a networking, a personal development event wearing glitter, wearing heels with their makeup done, drinking champagne. Like that for me, that's just everything for me.
I love that. I took a lot from that too because I had also been in a lot of networking rooms and they're just like, they're great. The conversations are wonderful, but I'm like, there's just no fun in it.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like there's missing something. And that's when I molded the two together.
I love that. And it's the essence of who you are too.
Yeah, thank you.
You are glitter.
I
You radiate through your skin.
I'm radiant, yes. Yes.
I also took a lot from your beautiful partner and her recent event, which was her movie premiere. And it was like, who the fuck does that in personal development?
Literally.
And I look at you two just walking in and I'm like, mate, they are freaking perfect. Like iconic, original, just going for it. And I love that. I'm so happy for you, by the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful life that you created with her.
I know, honestly. I'm so grateful. I'm probably going to get emotional too. Like I said, you guys caught me on a touchy day, but I'm so happy to be like so emotional in this space because like something that I really try to honor is the human behind the brand as well. And coming back into my relationship with Alex, it really is so iconic. We talk about this all the time. We like to pitch ourselves as like the named celebrity couple in the personal development world. Like we're like the it couple. And we love it. Like we're both main characters, so we kind of get off on it. We're like, yes. Us together, power couple, obviously.
Absolutely. And when you're in a relationship, there is something so like sexy and like when you hear someone go, you're the power couple, you're like, yeah. I am.
Yeah, we love it. Like obviously we both love being center of attention and having the limelight. So yeah, I mean, even just like being both that personality in a relationship has been an interesting journey. But for some reason, it just works with us. It just works. And that was definitely something that I was mindful of when we first started dating, was like, you know, I kind of looked around and I was like, there's usually like the main character and then the supporter. And it's like there's very rarely you see, I guess, like two main characters together. And that question came up for me, and we've just been, we like have, I don't know if it's just because I'm dating a woman. This is the first time I've ever been with a woman, but like the level of communication in that relationship is like something I've never experienced before. But yeah, that whole topic around can two main characters be together has been something that we've communicated and navigated through so well that now we're like, it's almost like, no, this is our power that we actually get to share this together. There's no playing small. There's no room to play small in a relationship like that, but also the depths that we can hold each other because we have gone through such expansive experiences.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I took a lot from even you just saying that. So thank you for sharing that. Something that you don't hear a lot of, like Chris and I very much, like he leads the business and I'm in the support role, but I still have quite, like I'm still involved in a lot. And we do butt heads sometimes because it's like, hang on, are you doing this? Am I doing this? But the thing that gets us through is communication.
Yeah.
It's like top tier.
Yes.
So something that you mentioned before that I want to circle back to, which I think would be really valuable, is you can have all the very best things and you can be hitting all the goals, but you still have your shit days too and you still have your moments. How do you navigate that?
That is such a complex question.
It's like, where am I at in my cycle?
Yeah.
Literally,
I think my period's true, so it's probably just adding to the whole thing as well. But I have, I guess, like a number of resources that I lean into. I have my mentor, I have my incredible partner, I have my spirit guides, my team, and I most importantly have myself. And something that I'm so grateful for, having gone through the personal development before the business, is I've learned how to access and be my own resource. And there's ways, like for me, like movement is primarily is something that I use to, I guess, process emotions. But I think the awareness piece, like the consciousness piece, right, is just like, yes, like I am still so aware of experiencing these things. Yeah, I also know that they always play a role in the evolution. And something that I've taken from my mentor lately is like understanding like the law of order, like the universal law of order. Like sometimes we see things as being, you know, out of order in the moment. We can't make sense of it. Like, why am I feeling this way? Like, why isn't this happening? I've been doing all the things and nothing is really happening for me. And it's like obviously that energy, and especially from someone who is a high achiever and is always striving for the next goal, always looking beyond, okay, the next milestone, the next milestone, the next milestone. Yeah. Right. And it's like, okay, but where am I like right now? And something that I use always is like, okay, like the universe, my spirit guides, my team, myself, it's all being divinely orchestrated. And knowing that there's a bigger picture in play. So I usually just reference, okay, like how is this actually happening for me right now? What are the emotions that I need to feel? What's beneath that? Is this just a reaction right now, or is there a deeper meaning that I need to like, you know, process? And I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm so grateful for having done the personal development before the business, because it's allowed me to have the awareness, the consciousness, the ability to look inwards, to process and move on rather than cycle, like literally just spin in circles around, why is this happening to me? I don't feel good enough, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool, amazing. Right, what's the piece here? We can get that and move forward. So that's something that has really been an anchor for me, is just being able to resource myself. And I know, like, I have the most delusional trust that everything is working in my favor. The most delusional trust. Like, that's why I do such delusional things and such like illogical things. And it's also, I think, the reason why I've been able to grow so quickly is because I can make bold decisions and trust that I'm like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to pull this together, but the fact that I'm deciding this and doing it, I know that it'll work out. Like, I have full faith in that. And pulling that back into like the law of order, it's like right now, if I'm going through something that I can't quite make sense of, I know that is actually in order. I just don't have the awareness piece yet.
I love that. And it's that ultimate trust where it's like, whatever I'm in right now, I'm meant to be in it, trusting that I'm meant to be in this position right now, and this too shall pass. Like I will come out the other side.
Yeah.
I always take it like it's a lesson. What do I need to learn in this moment? Am I learning a new strategy? Am I learning to just relax? Am I learning that I need to put myself first in this situation? That's me all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you are boldly stepping in to these crazy things that you beautifully do, which by the way, you look like you do it effortlessly. I know it's not. I know it's not, but you hold yourself with so much grace.
Yes.
Like, what is the process that you go through when you're like, okay, I've got the inspired action. Now I've got to take the inspired, the action towards the thing that I've just thought about. Like, how do you do that?
It reminds me of when I created my first ever event. I was 3 months into my business. I think I'd done a 10K month. And like I started my business pretty strong. So it was a good start. I did start strong. 3 months into my business. And I just got this download to run an event. And I was like, okay. And it came through, combining like luxury networking with content creation. I was like, I wanted to run this event that was like glamorous for like the 6 and the 7 figure business owners. I hadn't even hit 6 figures yet. But I'm like, I'm going to run it for the 6 and 7 figure business owners. I'm going to create an event that people will be like, oh my God, you went to Candy's event? That was literally in my brain. So
many people did that too.
Yeah, literally. Oh my God. That was what's going through my brain, you know, and I think everyone has that moment where they're like, I've got this fucking idea. I'm going to do it. And the way that I do is kind of like a feedback loop. I'm like, I'll get this idea and like I said, 3 months into my business, and then the ego starts popping up. Who do you think you are? You're 3 months into your business. You're no one. Why would you run an event? Why would people even want to come to your event? Yeah. Those thoughts are still there. Always.
They don't go away, guys.
They don't go away. Every time that happens, I always like literally just like look up to the sky and ask my higher self. I always reference this, and this is something I teach my clients always, is like, what did your higher self do? The version of you who has it all, the success, the freedom, the money, the family, the relationship. What did that person have to do to be there? And I literally just like put my hand on my heart and I'm like, okay, is this what we are doing? And if I'll just get like a yes, I'm like, okay, that's it. That's all I need to know. Is this what we are doing? And I always reference it as like a reference point because it's not me. It's not it, universe, source, God, whatever belief you hold. It's co-creation. Yeah. So I always reference, okay, cool. Is this what we're doing? Yep. All right. I'm fucking trusting you. Let's go. I've done that every single time. Yeah. And I usually know, like, I can feel the emotion within my body. And when I can feel it within my body, I know, even if I don't know how, I know it's what needs to happen. And I truly believe if I can see it in my mind, I can create it in my reality. Yeah. And from that moment of that first event where I saw it in my mind and it then happened in my reality, that was enough evidence for me to be like, okay, if I can do this, I can do anything. Yeah. And I've just been able to repeat that belief system, that evidence piece again and again, like even from like my bodybuilding comps. If I can see myself on stage, I know I can do it. Even when I ran my first half marathon, the day after I ran an event.
Oh no, I saw that. Like, you won't. Even I'm not that insane, and insane in a great way.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I know. I always do these things. Yeah. And I was like, okay, if I can see that I am holding that medal at the end of the finish line, I can do it. Yeah. If I can see that event, I can do it. If I can see this, I can do it every single time. My Australian tour, if I can see it, I can do it. And I've just built this evidence list, this bucket of evidence and reference points. I'm like, cool, I've done that. I can do this. Yeah. And it's just that co-creation with myself, my higher self, the universe of being like, okay, this is what we're doing. fucking scary. But let's go.
I think too, like the more you do that, it's like reps at the gym. Like you're going to build that strength muscle more and more, that trust in yourself, that belief that, well, if I can see it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've noticed as well with myself in the past and then also with clients is like they'll do it once and maybe it won't work.
Yeah.
Kind of like fall off the wagon and it's
Oh my
like,
God.
no, like go to the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. Find the thing that works and double down.
Yeah.
And keep
And
going.
I think something that I heard recently was the reason why some people can overcome failure is, well, I think it was framed like success is being able to fail and fail again, yet also continue to fail with enthusiasm.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Because I know like in the off the back end of my Australian tour in November, I actually, as successful as it was and incredible as it was, I actually still got a little bit burnt. And having like, you know, not as many people show up or selling tickets and then having like a 75 to 50% show rate and it fucking hurting and being like, fuck, did I just fail myself? I said I was going to get this many people in the room. I didn't. And having that reoccurring thing happen, I was so hurt. I felt so burnt. And I know that I still carry a part of that into this event that I'm running this weekend. And it's so real and it's so raw. And like you said, most people would get hurt by that and just be like, oh, well, maybe this isn't for me. And then just stop. And I'm like, fuck, like this is so, it's actually harder. It's so scary putting myself out there again, knowing that I could potentially have people not show up again.
I swear it's like every event. It doesn't matter how many rooms you've packed out. It's like you get to the few days before and it's like, fuck, what if no one shows up?
Yeah.
Like Chris and I talk about it all the time. We get to that, like I think it's like 3 to 4 days before and it's like, but what if no one comes?
Yeah. The weird thing is like I know people are going to come, but what if it's not as many as I want? And that's what hurt and still hurts and still plays in my mind. That ego is like, oh, but are you sure you should be doing this again? You know, you're not getting as many people as this person.
Yeah,
The comparison, it's just like, fuck. It's so hard. And it's the worst thing is, especially about having done personal development, you're like, you know what's happening.
Literally.
You're like, okay, ego,
it's
calm
like the
down
conscious,
now.
unconscious
Yeah.
battles.
Yeah, you're like, I know
the thing.
Yeah.
And the unconscious is like, but what if?
Yeah,
It's
literally.
like a little battle in yourself.
Yeah, you're like, fucking me.
Yeah. I get that all the time. I even get that as a parent. Like one day I'm like, I love being a mum. This is the best thing ever. And the next day it's like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Can't relate.
But I think it's like, I think that's just life. And I think that ultimately you just get like better at navigating it.
Yes, 100%. You know, I get this question quite a lot. Like obviously with my clients having that fear of like not being good enough or the fear of judgment of putting themselves out there and what if people judge me? I'm like, yeah, like I feel you and it never really goes away. You just learn how to deal with it.
Yeah. My thing is like the pain of not doing what I love hurts more than the pain of the fear of the what if.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
on the other side, it's so much
hard.
worth it. Yeah.
Choose your hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have like meant to be's all the time. I'm like, oh my God, it's just so hard. I feel like I'm pushing shit uphill, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm like, but stopping would be harder for me. Not fulfilling my destiny would be harder for me.
Yeah.
Getting to the end of my life and realizing or seeing who I could have become, that's harder. So that's what I anchor into all the time. I'm like, would my future self be proud of what I've done? Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I can't even remember where. I've flown in a lot of planes lately, but I was flying home not that long. I think it was like last year. And the plane went into land and then they had to like fly up to try and land again.
Oh God.
And like, that's the first time I've ever experienced. I don't know if you've ever experienced that.
Scary.
It's so scary. You're like dun, 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 going into going into land. Da,
Yeah.
da, da, da,
And you
wait.
prepare yourself to get off.
Prepare yourself.
Like you, yep.
And then they just go, vroom,
Yeah.
and then go back up. You're like, oh my God, what is happening? And it was just so weird. The dialogue in my head, it was just like I was almost watching myself think.
Yeah.
And the dialogue in my head was like, I'm okay to die. I've fucking lived it hard the last 12 months. I'm okay to die. And I was like, well, I'm proud of myself because at least my ego is like, we fucking sent it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I pride myself on.
I like that.
Is like and I also think too, having my nursing background and being exposed to so much death in my life, even before nursing, as a teenager being exposed to so much death in my life, I'm like it's almost like, oh, that's fine.
It's just another thing.
It's just another thing. It's just weird to me that I think so many people are afraid to die.
Yeah, it's been my thing in life. It's like, I think because it's like the ultimate unknown, which is even wilder because
Wow, I've
I
never
fucking
looked at it
love
that
change.
way. Yeah.
I love change. I love the unknown zone. I'm like, yeah, put me in the thing where I get to just create everything from scratch.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, it's like it's the ultimate unknown.
Yeah, wow. I've actually never thought of it that way. That makes sense for a lot of like people in the 3D that they're like, I'm afraid to die because I don't know. But as an entrepreneur, it's like you marry the unknown.
You literally marry the unknown. You're literally like, all right, I feel the fear and off I go.
Yeah, literally. I'm going to jump off the cliff knowing that some random dragon's going to come and pick me up.
Always.
Always.
I love dragons.
I love
I'm glad
dragons.
you said that.
Yes.
So you mentioned before, and this is just my curiosity running with me, but you mentioned before about your relationship with Alex and it being your first time with a woman. How has that been emotionally, you know, for you to go, like, I don't know, for me, I'm like, oh, this is not how I saw things going,
Neither.
you know, but then again, like this is kind of just tying in with that unknown
Yeah.
thing for me, like, and trusting that wholeheartedly.
Well, I think it comes back to what I was talking about before of that like relationship piece with source, the universe, my higher self, and being like, is this what we're doing? Okay. Okay. I think for me is, yes, I definitely didn't see it coming. I consider myself straight. And when we, I guess, connected and then we had the kiss at her event.
Oh, yes, I saw it. It's iconic.
The iconic, famous kiss. Yeah.
I remember sitting there watching it going, of all the things, that is exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
I was like, that is exactly what would happen.
Yeah. And I mean, like, when she asked me, I was like, look, if anyone's going to do it, it clearly is going to be me because I will put on a good show. Like, that was just my, you know, energy going into it. And then we connected and then she asked me on a date. And then it was just like these opportunities being presented to me. And every time that I connected in, my logic brain was going, glitching, being like, this is a woman? You're kissing a woman right now? What the fuck? Like just pure glitching. Yeah. But then like every time I would like check in with my body, it was just like peace. It was like so quiet. And again, I'd always ask myself, okay, is this what we're doing right now? Like, and it's just almost like silence, but it's a knowing energy. There's no thought. There's just a deeper inner knowing being like, okay, we're just going down this road. Amazing. And that's, I guess, how I've always treated our relationship. Obviously, for her, it's probably different. She says that she was sending me lesbian codes at the gym. Like, she was. Sending me codes at the gym. Be like, she likes me.
Like, alien antenna, like, wah, 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 wah,
wah. Literally, she used to say she would like watch me at the gym and be like, she's into me. She likes me. She's lesbian. Like all of these things.
Like
and that obviously, she was obviously being the manifesting queen that she is. She manifested me.
She did.
And the weird thing is, like, I was in an energy where I was like, I had been single for 3 years and I was calling in my partner. And I always said, like, I didn't identify with husband or boyfriend. I would always just say partner.
Yeah.
I'm like calling in my partner. And obviously I had the idea it was a man. she basically hit all the qualities except as a woman. And for me, I just like every time that we connected, it was just like, it was peaceful there. And I was just like, okay, I'm just leaning into this. I'm just trusting this. And it's just a relationship that has been birthed out of presence and calm love. Like it is such a calm and loving relationship, which is something that I haven't experienced up until being with Alex.
Such a good feeling. It was the same with Chris. Like it was that calm love, and something that I teach all my relationship clients is like, especially ones that are dating, is like if you're getting into a relationship with someone and you come and tell me that you've got all the butterflies, I'm going to be like, pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be nerve-sided when you're going on a date, like that
Yeah.
excitement feeling. But I'm like, if you're constantly getting butterflies in your tummy, like all the time,
Yes.
this could be a signal that your nervous system is like, this isn't
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Look for the calm one. Look for the one that like you get with, like you're with them. And you're
Yeah.
and even then, like if you're someone who has a lot of work to do with like being addicted to chaos, that would then also feel kind of funny too. But
Totally.
that calm love, you know, like that was everything to me when I got with Chris. I'm like, I don't know who you are, where you come from, but I know I've known you before.
Yeah. Well, apparently Alex and I have had a past life together where we were married and had a business together. So we're like, that makes sense.
Yep.
That works. So yeah.
I love that.
And it was a very peaceful, loving, like past life. Like no karma or anything like that. It was just very peaceful. And we definitely feel that, and we say that towards each other as well. I know she said about me having like this relationship for her has been the most calming relationship she's been in. Like she's used to the chaotic love.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting experience to be in, especially having come from, I guess, like almost like the trauma bonding background relationship where it's just like the ups and the downs and it intensifies the emotions, but it doesn't necessarily signify the love. So this journey of being with Alex has been like it's allowed me to journey to a deeper depth of myself. I think like having done the personal development, you can do so much on yourself, and then being in a relationship is just like the next level.
Yeah.
Having literally your mirror reflected back to you, like, oh, this is still there. Okay.
Chris and I literally have these moments where it's like, you said that really shit. And like, you say things so shit sometimes. And then the next day I'll be like, you say things shit sometimes. And it's like, we are literally the mirror of each other. And we both say things shit.
Yeah.
And it's just this like level of acceptance where it's like, I get to love that part of me through loving that part of you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can do so much work on your own, but you get to a point where like the next level is doing it in partnership.
Yep.
And learning to love those things and those triggers and all the stuff that come up in partnership.
Totally.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, babes, I love sharing that part of my journey.
Yeah.
And it's usually always a question on the podcast. Yeah. People always,
I'm just like,
they're like, tell me.
You know, I'm like, tell me about the love.
Yeah, tell me
Such
about
a
the
love bug. I'm like, tell me about your love.
Oh, it is beautiful love. Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And, you know, yes, I see you online, but I've also seen you at events and watched the way you two, like I'm such an observer of love and relationships, part of what I do. And so I enjoy watching even just how you two, what's the word, like gravitate around each other. It is so divine and really beautiful to watch. And it's something that not everybody has. And I desire that everyone gets to experience it because it's so beautiful. Whether you have it for a long time or a short time is irrelevant, but just having that experience is so wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
So really, really happy for you.
Thank you, babe.
So I wanna come back to like being iconic and branding.
Yeah.
Like something I've learnt in the last like year, and especially in the last month, I have to say, is your brand is you. And when you sell from your most authentic self, you will attract your perfect clients, of course. If you were to speak to someone like any of the listeners on this podcast about showing up as you, as your brand, and going all in on that so you can attract your ideal client, How would you put that into like a simple term for anyone?
Like for someone who's starting, I honestly always advocate for just putting yourself out there first, because I believe most people start with the concept or the idea that they know who they are, what they stand for, and what their brand represents. And I actually believe that it's in the process of you see what your true values are, who you truly are, your true authentic version. So for me, I'm like, okay, the best thing is just to fucking just get out there, just start posting. Because I know even in my own journey, the evolution of myself is that, right? Your authentic self and bringing online your authentic essence is your evolution of yourself. Yeah. And I think that's where so many people go wrong, is they're like, this is who I am, boom. And they stay there.
Yeah.
And they stay there.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, like when we're talking about niching and stuff, like that's a different story. Okay, cool. Like obviously have your identity, but that's allowed to be fluid. And I don't mean like have a million different things that you relate to so that no one knows who you're talking about. I mean like show up and be passionate about one thing. And that one thing may evolve over time. It may develop. It may become multidimensional. But it is still whatever the passion is. So for me, I know that I started doing content creation and that was my thing. And I just hammered down on that. And then it kind of started evolving into like branding. And then it started evolving into like branding and personal development and business. So it's like something that has just eventually evolved over time. So for me, I'm like, I always just get my clients, okay, just start showing up as you. Share your voice. Share your actual opinions. Because I know that so many people go wrong is they usually talk to everyone.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid to actually share their actual voice and their actual opinions and what they actually think and believe. And that is what is literally creating the confusion within themselves, the confusion with their audience. So they actually don't know what to identify as. They don't know what their brand models. So that's why I say like just share your voice. And I mean, like we can go into whole different realms around like messaging, marketing, like actually identifying your soulmate client, knowing who to talk to, how to talk to them, your copy, all of those things, right? But I think for the person themselves to actually start is to, okay, what's your message to the world? What is your message to the world? Like double down on that and allow that to grow itself.
I love that.
I think like the biggest permission slip that I want to give your audience and anyone who's listening is a permission slip for your brand to evolve. Because as humans, we grow and evolve. We diversify. And our message still, like if we can penetrate the directness of our message, we can still have a multi-dimensional perspective to that message. But the message always stays the same. The passion, the direct. Like if I was to throw like a dart at what are those things called?
Dartboard.
Yeah.
Bullseye.
A bullseye, right? I'm always going to go for the bullseye.
Yeah.
I'm always going to have that direct messaging. But the bandwidth and the array that I can hit from that message can grow over time.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned that, because something that I definitely got caught in the bottleneck of having to be the one thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I first started coaching, I was only in the sexuality space and I had breathwork facilitator training, but I utilized it within that to help people regulate their nervous system whilst assisting them through their coaching. And then it kind of like morphed into feminine embodiment, but it became this like, it was just one in the same, essentially. I just fully niched into working with women. That kind of just worked together. And then when I met Chris and I was like, everything, like nothing was working. Nothing was working. And I was getting really passionate about the conversations we were having and where the business could go to next, and wanting to talk about business, but not having a facilitator training or things like that, and just getting so caught up in that. And one of the hardest things that I did in 2020, was make the decision to let go of my business and like let go of the sexuality and the things like that, and actually just go all in with Chris in the breath work.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm also curious to know, even throughout your business in the sexuality space, in the feminine essence space, in the breathwork space, the message,
always solid.
Is it the same?
It's always like the way that I even speak into breath work is through the essence of the feminine, you know? So it's like, I just loved how you worded it, and I couldn't even reiterate that because I'll butcher it. But like the message is the same, but there's growth in the delivery. There's growth in like, I'm so multidimensional. Even like this last week, I'm like, I feel like I'm just a mum now.
Yes.
And my content is really like focusing on like women again, as opposed to not everyone, but like the message of breathwork for everyone. It's focusing more in on women and just being a mum and having a regulated nervous system, remembering to create pleasure even when you are a mum, because we're still ourselves. And so I feel like I've just done this like big full circle with my message, but like it's just like this new level.
Yeah.
It's like I was the maiden and now I'm the mother.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I love that you shared that, because I think that's such a big permission piece to anyone in business, that it's okay to change things. It's okay to let things go.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And I think that's where, and I'm going to say this like so obnoxiously, is like the people who can actually lean into the change are the ones that are going to be successful.
Yes.
The people who be like, okay, no, but this has worked for the last year. I made a name for, like, because I've had to journey through this a lot as well. I mean, like, I made a name for myself in this industry. Like, what do you mean that I'm now going and doing this?
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, okay, you being able to lean into the unknown again is going to is like guarantee success. I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
Because some people get so, they attach themselves to the identity of this is who I am, and this is what I do. And they don't allow themselves to diversify. Like, your message could still be the same. Your mission could still be the same. It's like your movement could still be the same, but your delivery may look different.
I like that. Something that I have enjoyed about you as well is just like, it's like knowing exactly who you are, but also being the chameleon. So it's like you can change the colors, you can change the stripes, you can change the whatever, but you're still you at your essence.
Yeah.
If anyone listening is so curious about how you help them, how do you do that? How can they buy into you and go like, you know what, I love this woman and I need to know if she's for me? How would they know that?
If you're someone who knows that they're here for more, if you know that there's a part of you that is almost like hiding in the shadows, and you're looking for a space to bring that out, then I am the person for you. And whenever I have an onboarding call with a new client, I always say to them, what's your delusional vision? What's the dream, desired reality that you imagine in your mind, but you probably haven't told anyone? And if they can paint me that picture, I know that we're going to be a fucking vibe. Because most of the time, I mean, and I know like when people see my content, I know that I attract the people who are just fucking going to do it. They're like, I don't care. I know I'm here for more. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to make it work. And if you're having a conversation with me, I know that there's a part of you in you that believes that to be true. And if you're willing to action that, then I'd be curious to work with you.
I love that. I love the delulu. Got to have a healthy dose of delulu.
Yeah, or unhealthy.
Yeah.
Got me somewhere.
Chris is always like, he's the like grounded, like, you know, like the real one, logic. And
isn't
like,
that a man thing though?
such a
The
man
logic.
thing.
This is why it's good being in a relationship with a woman. There's not too much logic.
It's so true
Yeah.
though. Like it used to bottleneck us a lot when we first got together because I'd come in like, oh yeah, this and all the big stuff, and he'd be
Yeah.
like, we are not there yet, and I'm like, I know that.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
need to tell me that.
Yeah, I just know.
Like,
That's
we're
the
good.
thing that it's like I have this thing where I love to live above my means.
Yeah.
I love to live above my means. I want to constantly expand myself. And most people are going to be like, that's stupid. Like, shouldn't you, like, you know, I don't know, budget? Ew. I've probably never looked at a fucking budget spreader in my life. It gives me the ick. Maybe once when I listened to a podcast about making money back in the days. I was like, how do I make more money? Budget my money? Who the fuck teaches that? Absolutely not. And then I think I listened to like Grant Cardone or someone, and they're like, the fastest way to it's easier to make 10K than it is to save 10K. And I was like, that's it. That's all I need to know.
More.
Just make more money. I'm just going to consistently
That's
live
my
above my
thing.
means to be able to expand myself when I get the, oh, fucking Jesus, all right, I need to make more money.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. It hasn't always worked for me, but I'm very much the same.
Oh, it's sometimes a bumpy ride, but like I'm in it for the ride, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's good. Yeah. I don't really think there's much logic in my life. I just do it.
Yeah. I think that's just part of being a woman too. It's like there's that feminine, it's the flow, it's open, it's expansive.
Allow that womb to guide me to wherever I need to go in this world. Okay, I'll go. That's basically how I ended up in Egypt. I was like, that was just fully divinely orchestrated. I thought about it, and then all of a sudden, someone, Nat asked me, hey, babes, do you want to come to Egypt? I was like, I literally was thinking that I need to ask you about Egypt.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, this is what we're doing? Okay, we're going. Like every single time, I'm like, are we doing this? Yes. Oh, fucking Jesus. All right, let's go.
I love that you brought that up, Egypt. It's my whole life it's been popping up for me, but it's been really present for me lately. I think too because Chris, his holy grail in his life is Mount Everest. We recently just booked.
Wow.
We just booked
Never
our.
even thought of that.
Yeah. It's
Well, like, yeah, it's never been on my book.
I mean, it's like it's so masculine too. It's the mountain.
Yeah.
Steady but there's definitely like a soul path there for him, and we booked it.
Oh,
We go in a few months.
wow.
And so I think like that was always our thing was like we'll do Mount Everest, then we'll conceive our child, and then like Egypt will come. In my mind, I'm like that's my baby moon, Egypt. It'll be so incredible to have my one child growing inside me when I'm in Egypt.
Cool. Yes, absolutely.
I think that might
Egypt
be
is all about the feminine.
Yeah.
It's, oh my God, it literally changed my life.
Yeah. It's always been there for me, even at our master prac. It's just wild.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, I'm just getting like flashbacks to Master Prac. Oh, whoa.
And that is a whole nother podcast episode.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that was a whole thing.
Yeah, I just remembered that we were there together. Like
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. Wow.
So I have one last question for you, and it's a question that we ask all of our guests. It's my favorite question because it is so multifaceted and it is always different. And it is, what does limitless mean to you?
Limitless means to me to be able to make choice without any limitations. No second guessing, nothing. Expanding, growing, just making a choice again and again without restraint.
The best part about what I take from that is it's up to you to choose that.
Yeah. Always. Everything is always a choice.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Where can everyone find you? I know you mentioned it at the beginning, but we'll just drop it in again now.
Yes. Instagram is my main platform at Kenny the Creator _. Or recently I picked up my TikTok career. Love it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I went viral with a rescue dog.
Oh, yeah. I went viral with me and my calculator talking about how much money I made. Lol. And I was like, oh, okay. Why didn't I start doing this on TikTok, okay? So easy. Love it.
Thank you so much for coming on, babe. I really enjoyed that conversation. And I will see you on the next episode, everyone.